All right, welcome everyone. Today we're diving into something that feels really simple on the surface, but is actually super powerful, a community plan to save trees at local schools. Now you might think, oh, just plant some more trees, right? But as we're about to see, it goes so much deeper than that.
Seriously, just take a moment and picture it. What is a school without its trees? I mean, where do the kids play in the shade? Where do you have those cool outdoor classes? It's not just about looking pretty, right? The trees are like a fundamental part of the whole learning experience.
Okay, so here's the thing. The big challenge is that in a lot of local government schools, specifically Zilla Parishad schools in India in this case, those trees are in real trouble. We're talking destruction from animals, not enough water, just, general neglect. It's become really clear that just hoping for the best isn't working. They desperately need a solid plan.
So the mission here is super clear, super direct. And listen, this isn't just about going out and planting a bunch of new saplings. It's about protecting what's already there and building a system to make sure the school campus stays green and thriving for kids for years and years to come.
So the big question is, how do you actually fix this? Well, the solution proposed here isn't just one magic bullet. It's all about building a really strong foundation. And that foundation is built on 3 pillars that all connect and support each other. So let's dive in and break down what they are.
Okay, pillar number 1. This is all about the nuts and bolts, the physical stuff you can see and touch. Think about it. You can't just throw seeds on hard ground and expect a forest, right? You've got to prep the soil. That's exactly what this pillar is about, creating the actual physical environment where trees can be safe and grow.
And it boils down to 3 crucial first steps, and the order here is really important. First, you secure the funds. Second, you build the fence. And third, you make sure there's water. If you skip any of these or do them out of order, the whole thing could fall apart.
All right, so where does the money come from? It's not just from one place. It's kind of like a 3-pronged attack. You've got your annual government grants as a starting point. Then, the local village council, the Gram Panchayat, can chip in some funds. And, this is a big one, you tap into the alumni network. Getting former students involved can be a total game changer for financial support.
And look, the plan is absolutely crystal clear on this next point. This is the big one. Before you do anything else, you have to protect the area. The single most important, non-negotiable first step is getting a secure fence or a boundary wall up. Seriously, without that, all your hard work planting and watering is just, well, it's at risk from stray animals, people wandering through, you name it.
Okay, so the trees are safe behind a fence. Now what? They need water. And the plan has some really smart ideas for this. We're talking about installing bore wells or big water tanks for a consistent supply, but also using things like drip irrigation so you're not wasting a drop, and even rainwater harvesting to catch everything you can. It's a really sustainable, common-sense way to handle a critical need.
All right, so the physical stuff is handled. We've got our fence, we've got our water. Now, pillar number 2 shifts the focus inward to the students. This is where things get really interesting, because we're moving away from just reading about nature in a book to actually getting your hands dirty with real conservation.
And this right here, this is the key difference, isn't it? It's the shift from theoretical knowledge to practical experience. I mean, it's one thing to read about an ecosystem in a textbook. It's a completely different thing to build one. This is what makes conservation real for kids. It stops being some abstract idea and becomes a project they can see and touch and be proud of.
So how do you do that? Well, one of the main ideas is this program called Vriksha Datak Yojana. Basically, it translates to an Adopt a Tree program. And it's such a brilliant, simple idea. Every student, or maybe a whole class, gets assigned one specific tree. That's their tree to take care of. Can you imagine the sense of ownership and pride that creates? It's a direct connection.
But it doesn't stop there. The connection gets even more personal. This plan connects the dots between saving the environment and something every single student cares about: their lunch.
And this is just genius. They propose setting up a kitchen garden right there on school grounds. So what does this do? Well, for starters, the veggies they grow go straight into the school's midday meal, so you've got fresh, nutritious food. But it's also a living classroom. Kids are learning about farming, about where their food comes from, about managing resources. It's just a win-win-win.
Which brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this may be the most important one of all. If you think of the infrastructure as the body and the education part as the mind, then the community, well, that's the heart. It's the network of people that holds the entire thing together and makes sure it lasts.
And this quote really says it all, doesn't it?
The development and environmental protection of a school is not just the government's job, but the responsibility of the entire village. That is such a huge mental shift. It's saying, hey, this isn't somebody else's problem to solve, it's our shared responsibility, everyone in the village.
So, okay, what does that actually look like in practice? This breakdown is perfect. You have the school management committee, and they're kind of the coordinators. They pull in parents, other local groups. Then you have the villagers themselves, who can chip in a little money or, just as importantly, their time and effort. We already mentioned the alumni, who can help with funding and maybe even their professional skills. And even the social forestry department gets involved, giving advice and providing saplings. See? Everybody has a part to play. It creates this amazing web where everyone is invested in the outcome.
So when you put all three of these pillars together, the infrastructure, the education, and the community, you start to see how it all clicks. They aren't just three separate lists of things to do. They're designed to work together, to lock into each other and create a system that can sustain itself for the long haul.
Yeah, when you have that physical safety from Pillar 1, you have the students who are personally invested from Pillar 2, and you have that incredible web of support from Pillar 3, well, that's when the magic happens. A plain old school campus transforms into this living, breathing green space that literally benefits the entire community.
You know what this whole plan really shows us is that huge, lasting change can start from one really well thought out idea. It's that old saying, right? A whole forest starts with a single seed. So, it kind of leaves us all with a pretty powerful question to think about for our own neighborhoods and communities. What seed will you plant?